If you've got two pictures of your product, how would you know which picture is going to perform well on Amazon? To fix that problem, Amazon has a tool called Manage Experiment. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Manage Experiment. I'm also going to show you the best practices that you should apply when you use that tool. And also I'm going to show you the results I got when I used that tool. Before I show you all that, if you are new to this channel, my name is Adnan and I've been selling on Amazon from the last 5 years. And in this channel, I show tips and tricks I've learned over the 5 years that some has saved me a lot of time and some has saved me a lot of money. So if you want to save time and money, make sure to subscribe to this channel. So let's go to the screen and I'll show you how you can use that tool. To get access to this tool, all you've got to do is click on menu and go down all the way where it says brands and then look for Manage Experiments. If you don't see Manage Experiments, the reason could be that you're not brand registered. If you want to learn more about brand registry, let me know in the comment box and I can make a detailed video about brand registry, which helps you get access to all these extra tools. So when you go on Manage Experiment, you'll see on the right hand side that you've got option to run different experiments. So you can run experiment on A+ content, and you can run experiment on bullet points. You can run experiment on product images, product title, and brand story, and also multivariate. So what that means is basically you can run two different experiments at the same time. So let's look at them one by one. So if you click on A+ content, you've got option to select your product. And if you go down here, you'll see some says ineligible. So the reason they are not eligible because you need at least 1,000 views over the last 30 days. So if you've got low traffic, Amazon will not allow you to run experiment on that product. So we're going to click on the product that I'm eligible to run experiment. I already have a A+ content, and here all I can do is I can create a new A+ content, and then I can set that version here, and then I'll be able to test these two different A+ contents. If you're not sure about what A+ content is, so this is what A+ content looks like. It sits underneath your listing. Then if you go back, you've got option to run experiment on bullet points. So if you go on here, select your product, and then here you can see I have my old bullet points, and then here I've got option to in version B where I can put new bullet points, and then I can run that experiment on a new bullet point. And then same goes for the images. So I can select product, and then here I've got option to either just run experiment just on my main image, or I can also run experiment on my other secondary images. So you just have to upload another version of those images here and then just set that experiment. And then the other one is product title. So same again, I've got my old title here and I've just got to put my new title, and then I'll be able to run experiment on that. And then for brand story, so if you're not sure where brand story is, that usually sits on top of your A+ content. So here you can see that's what basically brand story is. You've got option to run experiment on your brand story as well. The last one is multivariate, where you got option to test two different experiments. So you can test title and product images both at the same time. So let me show you how you can set an experiment. So let's say if we decide to set an experiment on a title, we're going to select a product, and then if I want to set all you've got to do is click on schedule experiment. If you go in details, you'll see in the details that this is when we have set the experiment start, and then after Amazon has validated your experiment. So that means basically you're not using any prohibited keywords or anything that is against Amazon policy. Amazon will validate that experiment, and then experiment will start. So Amazon thinks it's going to take a couple of days for your experiment to start. And then if you start today, after 10 days, you'll start to see results of that experiment, and then experiment will end, and then you'll see the final result. And then there's an option that Amazon will auto publish whatever result performed well. And here at the bottom, you've got some options. So you can actually set a later date. So if you don't want to start the experiment straight away, you've got option to select a date that you like. You can also set a duration for the experiment. So you've got option to set for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks. You've got option to either publish the experiment automatically, whichever worked well, or you have option to then either choose it yourself to if you want to go ahead or not. So let me show you the best practices that you should use when you're setting up experiment. The main thing you want to do is do not make too many changes. So let's say if you are running an experiment on your main image, don't make too many changes on your main image, because then you won't know which change has actually brought the results. So make a subtle change and then run an experiment and then see how that worked. Same goes for the title. If you're running an experiment on the title, don't make too many changes in your title, because then that you would never find out actually that what was that exact change that had created that effect that brought you more sales or had worked well. Or it could go in the other way, that if it has not worked well, then you would know the why the experiment hasn't worked well. So that's one of the main tips that I would give you, that do not try too many changes at one time. The second tip I'm going to give you is make sure you run the experiment for as long as possible. So like I showed you that you had option to run it for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks. I would prefer to run it for 8 weeks. The reason for that is you'll get a better idea of that experiment. 4 week could be a trend or something might have spiked the results of your experiment. So if you run for 8 weeks, you'll get a better understanding of the results. So I would personally run it for 8 weeks. The third tip I would give you is what a lot of people do is they run the experiment for a couple of weeks, and then what Amazon will do, Amazon will start to give you results end of every week. And then if you see results for just 1 or 2 weeks, and then you see that let's say you've run an experiment on 2 different images, and then the second image has done well, you'll just end the experiment and then make that second image as your primary image. But you might not know that if you run it for 8 weeks, that the result could change. So I would advise you to run the experiment for the whole 8 weeks before you make any changes. The other tip I'm going to give you is do not mess too much with your PPC, because let's say if you're running an experiment on your main image, and then if you increase your bid, so that means you'll move up in the search result, and then you'll start to get more impressions and more clicks. So the result could be coming from increasing the PPC bid, not just from changing your main image. So don't mess too much with your PPC bidding when you're running an experiment. I would keep an eye on my PPC while I'm running an experiment, but I wouldn't make too many changes in my PPC while I'm running my experiment, because the PPC could impact my experiment. So I wouldn't want to do that. Another tip I want to give you is that when you're running experiment, always start from the title and main image, because when somebody type a keyword, the first 2 things they'll see is your main image and your title. So the most impact you will get from an experiment is from a main image and the title. If you're running experiment for the first time, make sure to just run experiment first on the image and then on the title. And once you're satisfied with your main image and the title, then move on to bullet points and A+ content. Don't start from bullet points and A+ content. They don't have that much impact on the conversion or on the sale. The main image and the title has the most impact on your sales. Let me show you what it looks like when you get the result once the experiment has completed. So this is one of my products that I ran an experiment on the main image. Amazon is giving me the result that the second image that I tried has performed 81% better than the initial image, and it's given me a breakdown of the result. And you can see that units per unique visitor, and then the conversion. So the conversion was better in the second image compared to the first image. So when Amazon showed my original image to people, I sold 104 units, but when Amazon showed my new image, I end up selling 142 units. So that's a difference of 38 units. So that clearly shows that my second image worked well. And then the units sold from scratch, you can see is 39 when the first image was shown and 46 when the second image was shown. The sales worked out £864 from the old image and 1,181 when it showed the new image. And then the sales from the search was 324 from the old image and 383 from the new image. And then the sample size, so sample size is basically how many people Amazon has shown that those images. So 62,613 people saw the old image and 62,066 people saw the new image. So if you see here, the actually 547 less people saw the new image, but it still has performed a lot better than the old image. So imagine if I just never run this experiment and then still be selling my product on my old image, I could be losing out on a lot of money. It's really important for you to keep testing your new images or new title, because you just don't know that if your title you're running is actually the best title, or the image you're running is the best image, or the bullet points or the A+ content. you're running right now is actually a better version of what you could run. So I hope you found this video helpful. I've got some links of affiliate products in the description. If you join any of the links, I will also offer you a free 30-minute call with me where you can join and ask me any question you like. So if you're struggling with sales, or if you need any help with setting up an experiment, or if you want me to help you with your main image or anything you like, you can ask me in that call. I will also advise you to go and watch this video here where I'll show you the 5 mistakes people make when creating a listing. That's also going to help you to take your listing to the next level. So go and watch that video and I'll see you there. Thank you very much.